You know that tune that's been stuck in your head ever since you were a kid? Ever wonder where that came from? Hi all, it's Mike. Classical music has been around for a really long time now, and it's had plenty of time to work its way well into our pop culture. In fact, it's gotten to the point where a lot of pieces are so commonplace that we don't even recognize really where they come from, or that they're even legit pieces of classical music. So today we're going to talk about the top 10 pieces you didn't even know you knew. Now, there are a lot of classical pieces out there that are more or less common knowledge. Beethoven's Fifth, and his Ninth Symphonies, Mozart's Eine kleine Nacht music, Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries. But we're not really going to be talking about these pieces. This is for the top 10 pieces that we might not even recognize as legit classical music anymore. Here we go! Number 10, the Cowboy music. Listening to this brings you back to a simpler time in the Old West, where the buffalo roamed free and typhoid fever was still a thing. This piece is actually the fourth scene from Aaron Copland's ballet, Rodeo. Or Rodeo, I really haven't figured that one out yet. It's all about a young cowgirl trying to win the affections of the chief wrangler by trying to prove she's just as tough as any other cowboy. This movement is from the hoedown scene at the very end, hence the name hoedown. It's been used in pop culture all over the place, and most notably in beef advertisements.
At the end of each day, all over the country, nothing satisfies so many people in so many ways. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Number 9. All the Italian stereotypes. How can you listen to this and not think of the beautiful Italian countryside, the olive gardens shimmering in the sunset while mama is telling you, "Hey, you're getting too skinny." And to all my Italian friends out there, no offense meant. I'm an American. You got plenty of jokes about us. This is La Donna Mobile from Verdi's opera Rigoletto. It's one of the most famousest of all opera arias. The Duke sings this in the third act, talking about how fickle and flighty women are. My first exposure to this piece came with a Mickey Mouse cartoon of Prince and the Pauper. You know, when Mickey and Goofy start singing,
"Give me a suckling pig to make my belly big."
I'm just a little guy. Give me a pizza pie.
The melody in this is really what makes it work so well. If you start singing it or humming it, chances are everyone around you will also know it, even if they've never seen the opera before. It'll also probably get stuck in your head after hearing it just once, so if you find yourself humming this later on today, sorry. Number 8, cartoon concerts. If a cartoon character is going to play the piano, chances are they're going to play Franz Liszt's second Hungarian Rhapsody. It seems like everyone from Mickey Mouse to Bugs Bunny, Woody the Woodpecker to Tom and Jerry all know how to play this piece. It was also the subject of the piano duel between two great cartoon ducks, Daffy and Donald, in the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Does anybody understand what this duck is saying?
Number 7, Here Comes the Bride. A popular staple at weddings, as well as for children to sing their own versions of it, this little tune started off as a wedding processional from Wagner's opera Lohengrin. Now, like all of Wagner's operas, this one is excruciatingly long, and going into the details would just take way too much time. So we'll condense by saying that the main lady in the opera quite literally married the man of her dreams, and this was their song. Number 6, the Funeral March. In a strange, ironic, unironic turn of events, what this piece is known for also happens to be the title of it. Chopin literally labeled the third movement of his second piano sonata Funeral March. I mean, you know, he labeled it in French, so it's actually Marche Funèbre. If you speak French, please tell me how I should have pronounced that, because I don't think I got it right. Interesting note, this piece was actually performed at Chopin's funeral while they were burying him.
Whoa, spookular.
Number 5. Two lovers embracing in a meadow in slow motion, probably wearing some variety of silk or linen, and most likely white or beige. We all know the too familiar, basically cliche love scene. But that's the thing about Tchaikovsky's music. It could take your ordinary, mundane adventures from day to day and turn it into something magical. By the way, this is the Romeo and Juliet Overture by Tchaikovsky. Number 4, fast forward music. Kabalevsky's Comedian Suite second bit entitled Gallop. I know, right? Kabalevsky.
Well, that's fun to say.
You'll recognize this as a popular favorite on anything movies or TV where they need to speed something up, give it, a sense of urgency, but still maintaining it's kind of funny. It works on pretty much everything. For example, this is me doing the dishes. This is basically the classical music equivalent of yakety sax, being able to take any mundane activity and make it into something funny. Number 3, the can-can. Orpheus in the Underworld is one of the most oft-told legends to set to music, particularly opera. Both Monteverdi and Gluck did one. Very well, I might add. I mean, Monteverdi's overture to this is epic. Who wouldn't want to enter into a room like that? Jacques Offenbach wrote one as well, but his was much more satirical and comedic than all the other ones. And you get a feel for that right off in the overture where you first hear the can-can theme. Now, that bit in particular is known as the Infernal Gallop. Apparently it's the official dance of hell. I'm just as confused as you are. Number 2, the Mickey Mouse one. Remember when Mickey was conducting a small orchestra of his friends and, they sounded really good, but then Goofy muddles the whole thing up by dropping all the instruments down an elevator shaft where they are promptly squished, and they just go ahead and play them anyway on live radio? I grew up with this cartoon, and even today, every time I hear Franz Suppé's Light Cavalry Overture, I still hear that donkey accordion. Or Donkey Concertina if you want to be pretentious about it. Dear Walt Disney Company, please bring back silly symphonies. They are a fantastic way to introduce music education and appreciation to young people. Sincerely, everyone. Number 1.
Circus, Afro, circus, Afro, circus, Afro, polka dot, Afro.
I'm not sure if there's a single person in the entire Western world who doesn't know this tune. Written by a man by the name of Julius Fuchik. You really gotta be careful with that name. Fuchik. The way that we have treated this piece of his has probably led him to be the single most disappointed composer to ever live. I guess he wouldn't be that disappointed because we're actually still playing his music long after he died. But still, when you know what he originally entitled this piece and what we use it for, I mean, now we could say that it's his own dang fault because he titled it Entry of the Gladiators. Nope, can't take it seriously. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. If you really enjoyed the music, down in the description, there's a link to a playlist you can subscribe to that has all the music we talked about today. Down in the comments, let us know of any other pieces that you love that maybe the origins are a bit more obscure, or that have super disappointing titles. March of the Gladiators? Seriously? Gladiators? Happy listening.